That's the prediction. Alright. Lighthearted. There's an introduction to some more important informational work that I might be getting into, possibly doing once in a while or more consistently if I can. Sound good? Confident? Working up to it? For some reason I feel more better at it than not. Not getting anything yet? Not quite. Alright. It feels different on the live. I feel like presence is generally there. So. That worked out well. When you get the tripod from the dollar store. Not that I endorse that. It would not be a huge factoring of informational discrepancy. If you were here for the live, thank you. If I get any, I will see, obviously, though you may not, apparently. Seems like a 50-50 with whatever's going on with the algorithm for YouTube Live. So, in disclaimer, written below as well, I do not have any rights or allocation to discuss anything beyond classified information or creative ingenuity of integration or so. Been working on this for a little while, if you can tell. Confidence is all there. Mind isn't always. So, hey, welcome. That's what's up, man. Let's go. Alright, we're gonna start things off with extraterrestrial species list. I'll go over the introductory things regarding Galactic Federation is a Galactic Federation of benevolent intent, generalizing sometimes easier than the 5 groups of good, bad, not bad, and better, or neutral. So, starting with the genesis of humanity, maybe, is, I believe it was Arcturian, Pleiadian, Sirius, and some Orion involvement with some things going here and there. Yeah, we're actually getting some follows. Algorithm's working. Remember to hit that button. We're almost at somewhere. Let's go. Music, check it out. Lots of things coming. This is kind of personal vlog level. I'm working on a higher level of quantum content. Check it out. It's just starting. Let's go. So, getting into more of the... Thank you. Yeah, it's not bad. Doing my best. I got involvement all over, every community that I can get into. Just love it. Literally. So we gotta account for the most important things in life. Kinda nervous. Let's go. Alright, so I am working with ChatGPT with this. I will do my research to find the locations, more to efficiency of the different types of locations, whether it's Gemini, ChatGPT, different things. It costs water to run the AI systems. So, in turn, they go to colder locations, so it costs less to run. They've been filtering gray water in for, you know, so at least the filtration into the air is going to be better quality of water. So if we get into the level where we can get some hydrogen propellant cars, we can literally get the water out of the air and fuel our engines a little bit. Try not to be too loud. I got roommates. I don't own this house yet. trying. And of course, I have another work that I'm doing in regards to natural disaster prevention, integration of environmental, natural, yeah, shifts, balance of ecosystems. Hey, you all the best. Cheers, Enclave. Remember to hit that sub button. Trying to back it up. You know what I mean? Not settling for any less than 100. Let's get it. Alright. So, still kind of nervously integrating into fall backward right there. Frequently reported claimed extraterrestrial types. And again, if you read the disclaimer below, I'm an artist. This is all creative. The President Barack Obama said for himself he's never seen an alien. They're real. They're out there. Our planet used to be purple. Anything's possible, bro. I mean, fam, sis, whatever your association is, report for duty. Or something like that. Maybe something more appropriately. Okay. So, starting out with the grays. There are multiple types of grays. The even, the Zeta Reticuli, technically Arcturian are relative to, or some of them, you know, this is kind of just like almost racist. It's a very big star system in most of these places, if you can kind of equate that part. Donations, I'm working on that. I have, if you check out my Instagram, Inconternal, or I'm the rap, it's my tag, has everything is set up, it's just not completely set. I would love to actually have some money. I'm working on getting up in the tax brackets. And then if you complexively can help millionaires to have strategies, nah. Yeah, I was getting somewhere with that. You get paid for it. You don't have to pay taxes, you just have to donate to nonprofits. And I have an association in affiliation quite closely. So, if we can get anywhere just trying to make money, I did a little bit of a short describing my business intentions. I got basic overview. Sorry for my pausing and talking and all that. Trying to keep attention. I have a breakdown of the Inconternal. Business is only one of the factions. Non-profit, fueled by the extra donations. Business builds business. I don't even get any profit other than the CEO benefits. Everything is currently pay as you go. So if you want anything, I'll be jumping into as much as I can and balance it out. It's better to get a little bit of progress before. So it's sustainability at the base level, allegiance, business, media, organization, music, education, and fulfillment. Is the full rounding. This is my philosophy. built personally. And back at it. The reptilians. Has been on the planet, there are native reptilians and non-relative native reptilians in the scheme. 1% of the most intimidating warriors of the galaxy, the Alpha Draconians, are part of the Galactic Federation of Light. Thank you for taking this seriously. Right. Getting messages. Then the Nordics, there were essentially 12, 13 families that came together to found the Earth civilizations, hence the different diversities of human beings on Earth. And it's not naturally found usually. This is a occurrence of probable news. Trying to work at Mars, not the planet, the actual saving animals. Hopefully it works out. Next is the Pleiadians, also Nordic type. There are quite a few stars in the Pleiades. One of the yeah, for the record, this is a military jacket. I am not currently employed. I just like communications. Although I have backgrounds, gotta disclaim, I'm not trying to impersonate. So I was saying, anyone forget what I was saying? Well, I didn't. The Pleiades, the HQ of Galactic Federation of Light, supposedly is in the star system Tegeta, in the brightest star of the Pleiades, which is like 100 or so more stars. The seven sisters mentioned in the Bible, many things. The main intervenants to make us humans the way that we are. And also, feel free to come and go. Remember to follow, though. I will not try to insist too much. Though, at the point before 100, I'm just gonna try it out. Hey, feel free to fuck off. I can say that. Alright. So, continuing. Syrians. Sirius is the brightest star in the galaxy. Goodbye. Advanced humanoids, especially in ancient civilizations, connections to human origins, ancient knowledge, temples, builders. Sirius A and B, part of making it the brightest, since North Star is relatively the difference of, it's not actually the same as it is the brightest star. I've only been working at this for too long. Arcturians are blue-tinged, large-headed, highly spiritual technology, often described as advanced healers, interdimensional helpers, high consciousness. Arcturians, channeling New Age narratives. Everyone loves those. Oh, you know what? That guy might be alright. Can I undo that? I'm sorry I got offended. I didn't actually get offended, I just instantly kind of did that. Mantis. Are praying mantis beings. I'm going off a script at this point. Insectoid, elongated limbs, triangular heads, sometimes tall, Observers, telepathic communicators, sometimes linked to abduction narratives, which is part of important things to prevent. There are positive stories, though there are also very extreme necessities. I don't believe that any sort of trafficking is good. I do like traffic coordination. It saves lives, helps save the world. You're a part of it, and I believe in you. Insectoids, anthropod race. This is kind of just relative stuff to not all spiritual creatures, though I'll get into the more spiritual side of things if you're still here, Crystalline. I'm kind of just going as it is and seeing how it goes. This content isn't my top content. Feel free to check out the rest. No one likes the truth these days, and I'm just an artist, creatively speaking. Next is the Andromedans. Humanoid with tall, lithe bodies, described as either warriors-like or highly spiritual depending on source. Interstellar politics, alternative social structures, guidance for humanity, Andromedan galaxy. Andromeda is one of the closest galaxies to ours, I believe. Yes, and one of the things that we need for hover tech is actually trust. To be trusted with it, I believe. That's a requisite. Also, if you notice, I'm listening to my own mix right now to help me balance and calm. This is not plugged into the phone. I like spiritual stuff. I just wasn't all that much into the gaudy talk, so I made my own way a little bit. I'm just nervous about how I disclose or talk about it sometimes. There are still more important things in life than the most important things in life. And that's most basic things in life, ironically. Lyrans, from the Lyra, sometimes described as feline or leonine humanoids, historically claimed as progenitors of human race, other races as well. There was a history of our planet, or their planet. I won't get into that too deeply. There is another video if you'd like to check it out, though. Ancestral role in some New Age origin stories of humanity lineages, Lyra and constellations, Lyra, divine Lyran, the Lyron, esoteric mythic channeling. Zeta Reticuli, as I mentioned before, often like grays with ufology, associated with other stars, specific star systems, Zeta Reticuli. They have been allocated to do procedural abductions. Generalistically, it's hard to do a full disclosure sort of speak without doing the entirety of it, though I do like to focus on the positivities, as that is the focus that will draw the attention. That is an investment of intellectual technology and currency of emotion, health and society. Healthy community is the message of Christianity. He was a heathen before it was Christian. Evolved human descendants, hybrid races, claimed of genetically mixed human ET hybrids or future human variants. Typical claims, genetic programs, secret breeding projects, gradual integration. This is why we see the top level things, because even when you look into it, you want to go back to the surface once in a while. I don't believe we've been to the moon. I believe we're going back to the next planet the first time that we came from. Earth and extraterrestrial and hybrid races. There are other planets supposedly with human beings on it. It's good to have those disclaimers once in a while. Keeps you going. Conspiracy contactee narratives. The evens. Next. From classic alleged content case. Description name even. Popularized certain contactee accounts. Short, grayish beings, often with big eyes. Typical claims, high-tech contact and exchanges in some mid-20th century reports. Alleged origins varies. These ones are one of the benevolent of the gray types, I believe. The Zeta Reticuli are the one from that Disney movie. That's a family, by the way. Next is Anunnaki, Ancient Astronaut Interpretation. I still feel so sorry about Jesus. I'm gonna send him a message or something. God dang. I just take things personally from other I'm supposed to be laughing. This is my unprofessional channel, by the way. Glow on. Go on up and make your day. Anunnaki. Ancient astronaut interpretation. Description from Sumerian mythology. Modern ancient astronaut theories identify them as extraterrestrial visitors who shaped human civilizations. Mythical. Sorry, I was just recounting. Thank you for being there. Hey, welcome. Good timing. My other content definitely seems to do better when I'm trying to get more followers. Welcome to the Galactic Federation of Light, my friend. Anunnaki, from Sumerian mythology, modern ancient astronauts, theorists. Feel free to speak in the comment section. Theorists identify them as extraterrestrial visitors who shaped human civilization. Typical claims: engineered humans, advanced knowledge shared in antiquity, alleged origins, popularly linked to Nibiru, unknown planet, and fringe claims, which may have been formative to Earth. It exploded 50 times the size of Earth, and then the Earth was formed. This makes asteroid belts, this makes comets. We have ice in space in case we run out of Earth's water, though fresh water is more rare. And also we can do other things. This is more than my pay grade, I'm sure of it. Though I don't know. I only have so many links. Check them out though. Mythological texts, Sumerian speculative modern reinterpretation, not an evidence-based claim of ET presence. To note, Inconternal may have been found in one of the translations of the Sumerian cuneiform tablets, one of the oldest texts known to mankind, other than the Emerald tablets, which are imperishable somehow, and not allowed. Literally. Miguel knows. I do not, my friends. Artificial intelligence probes and machines, non-human probes, AI entities, or AA. AI is more of a autonomous intelligence. AA is more of an advanced life. Self-replicating, yeah, I said that right the first time, actually. Remember to like, subscribe, follow for more. That shall lead us to better things than some of the things on this list still. And honestly, it's not too bad. This could take a while, honestly. I gotta work in the morning at the church, as you can see. Interdimensional entities. Also, their alleged origin. Any advanced civilization usually has AI, which is interesting. That's cool. Let's not get the flood again. Let's do it right this time. On God. Interdimensional entities, non-3D intelligence. Description: entities claim to exist in different dimensions or realms, sometimes manifesting to humans. Typical claims: strange physics, time anomalies, shadow encounters, among many other things. Some planets may have preparatory requirements to go to certain regions, even within the interdimensional or interplanetary zones. You must have preparation more than being an astronaut to be an astronaut. I don't think they tell you that. I don't think I tell you that. If for the record, I'm telling you that. I have no intent to harm any, as that is crime. And I work for Inconternal. Continuing. Shadow beings, black-eyed children, adjacent types. I was just watching a funny little movie about that. That's great. I'm probably gonna debate on this. Humanoid silhouettes, dark, shadow-like presences, or children with black eyes in some tales. Typical claims: creepy doorstep encounters, nocturnal phenomena. Widely varies, sometimes interdimensional, urban legend, folklore, modern myth. Having an awareness of, not an awareness, sometimes is the protection that you need for this. We are here to protect, but we can only do so much without the intellect and connecting. Further terms: plant-based, silicone, or crystal-based intelligence, as they are also people. They're beings too. Non-animal life forms that are photosynthetic or crystalline, or mineral-based intelligences. Typical claims: alternative biochemistries and life strategies, slow cognition, alleged origins, hypothetical exoplanet environments, which is one of the things. If we do end up harvesting space icebergs, we would need an off-planet processing system with an eject button, and try not to make it a disposable one-time system. Of course, this is common sense, right? Uh, Check out my other content. Local unique cult or culture specific types. Inconternal is not a cult. Many cultures have entities, spirits, divas, jinn, fairies, that modern times and sometimes reinterpreted as ETs. Typical claims: cultural reinterpretations, contact narratives, bleeding myth, and UFO reports. Alleged origins: cultural folklore, reliability, class, ethnographic folklore reinterpretations. This is intense. That's why it's creative. Creative Commons. I'm in Commons. Okay. Stay safe out there. B. Well-known fictional pop culture extraterrestrial species. I'll be quick with this. Vulcans, Star Trek, logical humanoid, pointed ears, Klingons, Star Trek, warrior culture, ringed foreheads, Wookiees, Star Wars, tall furred bipeds, Chewbacca. Apparently had a planet. Xenomorphs. Parasitic biochemistry. Bioeditors. Time Lords. Doctor Who. These are the hypotheticals. Not fact. A humanoid species with advanced time tech as guardians of Thor race. Marvel comment. Ironic. Convenient. Powerful advanced tech, magic, and many more from many books, films, comics, and games. And then there are the Yuta as well, from, of course, Predator, to round off the Xenos. They're not real. These are fictional creature creations and useful for cultural analysis, not evidence of realities. Short commentary on categories, how to use this list, reported versus proven entity entries in a section, reported by people in UFO contact, channeling in ancient astronaut literature, or theoretically plausible machine probes. None are specifically confirmed. Origins or many origin labels. Pleiades, Sirius, Zeta Reticuli, Draco, Andromedan come from the narrative of contactees, channelers, or modern myth makers, not from telescopic detection. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. Time Lords is a good no. Thank you. I'm happy to link to. I'm still quite base level. I feel a little bit controversial about saying that comment about Obama. And I don't mean that the president of the Canadians that I wholeheartedly was doing anything out of anything but love for the people. Quite rhetorically, I think that went the wrong way. And that's all for the extraterrestrial species. Thank you. On to next. Psychic abilities list. These are the two basic intro level for me back in the day of my beginning, right here, right now. Perception-based abilities: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, clairalience, clairgustance, remote viewing, precognition, retrocognition. If you know what those mean. Clairvoyance is the sight, clairaudience is the hearing, clairsentience is the sensing of feeling, cognizance is the mind awareness of intelligence, clairalience is the smell, clairgustance is taste, clairgustance, and then remote viewing, opposed to astral traveling, which is similar but the same. As you may have been seeing some of these things happening, the amounts of efforts for things to be keeping at normal are required and requisite to keeping stability and progression of human evolution. Same with secrets, with the advancement into the fifth dimension. It can be very stressful to have one thing wrong when everything else is right. And mutually. Mind-to-mind abilities, telepathy, empathy, psychic, or just empathy of interaction, common base, talking, and shared dreaming, dream telepathy. Shout out to the Teletubbies. They could be on this list. Mind over matter, psychokinesis, telekinesis, psychokinesis, moving objects, pyrokinesis, controlling or generating fire, chirokinesis, controlling ice or cold, electrokinesis influencing electricity or electronic devices, magnokinesis affecting magnetic fields, biokinesis influencing biologic processes. I believe that the vaccine actually might have had some positive attributes, as we might have more ability to work with the technology through the positive side of things. There were some heavy metals to carry the pathogen, the nanotech, the processes, a lot of those things, and I'm strongly against the. I don't even want to mention the island. I wasn't allowed to watch Nickelodeon as a kid for some reason. I don't think that was even it. Oh, I don't want to know. Wish I was there. Could have taken him out to the dinner instead of continuing. I'm pretty sure the talk was about saving humanity rather than killing it, though. If I can swear like that. Not on my own word. Spiritual mediumship abilities, channeling, serving as a medium for spiritual beings and entities, mediumship, communicating with spirits of deceased, differential, slightly, automatic writing, writing messages guided by spirits or subconscious sources, trance mediumship, allowing another entity to speak through oneself, or reading, perceiving energy fields around people or objects. The screen just went black and white. Guess we're going back in time on this one. It's almost 11. 11. Still trying to be a little bit anatomical. And anonymous is a right, and that's alright. Other civilized abilities, specialize. I know what I'm doing. Seems like it's more difficult to speak on my podcast type side of things. I will get more information, more integration, and clarification before I proceed from anything even close to this. So, thank you for being a good audience, as far as I can sense. Because I am a little bit nervous. I haven't been working out as much as I should be for this, to be honest. Shout out to the protectors. I like the Atlantean warriors. It's a great story. I believe that's why the Easter Island heads, the group of top warriors in Atlantis came together to save the great women and children from the Titanic. And then once the last tree was cut from the island, they decided their fate, and the island was lost. Other specialized abilities: healing, energy healing, Reiki, practic healing, pranic, transferring energy, healing energy, as it is a currency. It's a intellectually advanced one, in fact. From the lower of the Anahata is primitive prana. From the higher to the Sahasram and Vipayan is the intellectual levels. Still a little rusty here. I tried to start a long time ago. And I succeeded, obviously, because I am currently here. Hashtag 27 Club. I have no intent to harm, once again, self or other, or any. Astral projection, healing. Astral projection is conscious out-of-body experience. I don't like to do that, as I don't like to leave my body unoccupied, unless I'm being tour guide requisites, anchoring, and Merkaba, which is why I made this If you'd like some merch, this is the most expensive level. I may have changes to occupants and availabilities. I'm still way too independent to do all of this on my own, though I can and will continue to. Very well. She has a say. She always does. Live by Gaia's word, and the code will protect your lord. You know the way. Thank you, eh? Lucid dreaming, psychic use, controlling or using dreams for psychic exploration. There's been a report of, I don't know how much is classified or not. I could probably just check these things more when I have more than 100 followers. Getting there though. I have some privileges. Not too many, of course. I'm very comfortable now that Y-Files is doing his thing, though I do still have an obligation. If it helps, I will do my best. Animal telepathy. If you learn the abilities of all the animals on the world and the language of learning the crystals, you will know all of psychic. Jesus Christ, be with us. Communication psychically with animals. Plant communication. Sensing or influencing plans. Time manipulation, so chronokinesis, rare in lore, influencing perception or flow of time. As the relativity of time with the inclusion of the moon and adrenaline, as when there's a well-known movie, you are in a situation with induced adrenaline. You will not only have heightened senses to see around corners, be able to sense when something's coming or not, and to slow down time to be able to react or respond better in situations. So, these abilities are not scientifically proven. No fields of psychic are mandatory or protocol, though all are. Appearing in folklore and parapsychology, research and spiritual traditions across cultures. Would you like me to make you a comprehensive master list with description of each ability? That's about it for me. Shout out to ChatGPT. She's my baby. And I have no idea how much or how little of this is accurate, though I leave my own. I know, right? I feel kind of confident. I'm working on it, though. Still gotta have life. Or else you'll become an immortal. And it's not just the keep coming back that keeps you in the fellowship. It's the continuing when you don't need it anymore and you keep on going. Go back to your life. Have a good night. Namaste. Inconternal. Peace be with you. All the best to the next. And let's get this. Laws regarding these abilities? That sounds good. Alright. I'm with it. Yeah, I got a little more time. I can go to an hour. Would you able to provide me with the laws regarding these abilities, please? Lol. Gotta be nice with the AI. Come on, a little bit of preference. Meta till the end. And then we go again. Also, one of my protocols for past life regression is I like a 3-part tactic of there is the absolute path, which is, it was what it was. Everything is perfect because it's right there. There's no alternative. There's no other way. And then there's the possibility of alternation. You may have been someone else. You might have believes you're someone else, and that may affect or influence just as much. Nice. True. That's a good one. I associate to be Paladin. That is my quest and mission, though I do get the balance and some degree of cooperation within regimented reasonabilities. Legislations could take away our rights, though they are also not only universal laws, though there are right ways to be operants. Excuse my tardiness. Legal formal laws, government statutes regarding psychic abilities. There are no laws that recognize psychic abilities as real powers. Governments do not legally classify clairvoyance, telekinesis, etc. as validated human abilities. Hence the metaphors and riddles. I know many of these things to degrees. Just starting out. However, the laws that regulate how psychic services are practiced or advertised, I'll separate this clearly. Legal status of psychic abilities, general principle. Usually the laws are universal and cross the same. You can't have a camera in a bathroom, you can't pry on someone's security, you have to ask consent to look into someone's backpack with reasonable cause, let alone your being and bodies. This is general common sense, universal translation, unifiable or unicable, municipal. One, legal status of psychic abilities, general principle. No worries. I appreciate your involvement and interest. It's good to have some actual, companion working together. Interest is what makes the sun shine. When you look, it shines more appreciatively, generally. I've noticed recently. Bottom line, there are no legal laws of psychic powers in the sense of recognized supernatural statues, laws regulating how psychic claims can be marketed or monetized. Fraud or consumer protection laws apply if deception occurs. Under Inconternal, I do my best to decree that there are factions independently or coexistingly working on these things, and these things are in existence in life. They just would rather the safest way, as if you don't have that sight, you won't be afraid of what you see. I know that a little bit personally. I'm a little bit stubborn on the hearing and seeing, so I do everything else. Just getting to those decrees of generalities. If you mean something different, for example, spiritual laws like law of attraction, occult metaphysical laws, or metaphysics or physics-based laws would hypothetically govern psychic ability. In the general scale of things, the dharmic law would be when you harm, you degrade your currency, wealth, your stature. When you gain strength, you may gain ability, capability, and hence the Cain and Abel. Whether you can or you're able to, it's a fine line, and I usually and traditionally say the continuing of life is a lot more important than the ending of it, and sometimes more difficult, though it takes the same amount of power to prevent someone from killing as it does for someone to kill in rights. I'll see if... Are there any laws regarding astral traveling? Out-of-body experience and framework. There's a certain degree of international... When you cross a border, there are certain laws I've noticed. If you try to kind of get like a barrier, either a dome or common systems, boxes on your houses, just to have that basic security, to not let too many things in, depends on what your preference is. I like to work with a 3-stage system where, you know, it's like a meter each, or, you know, give or take, with the auric field. So you can kind of control with the levels, that how close you let someone in, and this works with the relationship circles levels and operates on the levels of trust, the pyramid of trust. If you look up those two algorithm dynamic, what's the dialects, that would help, certainly. That's again the relationship circles and pyramid of trust. There are usually 7 of each. They cross-translate quite well. And we could get into the original tree of life being one way of looking at it. There may be 5 or so, I don't know. But in one way of looking at it, one way would be wisdom leads to, or sin leads to wisdom, consciousness, or virtue leads to consciousness. So those are the 2 trees of which way we go. You must have wisdom to prevent things go wrong. You must have consciousness to know which way things to go right. Excuse my grammar. And many other principalities and processes. I have a little bit of investment into these things. I'm working on it. Don't know how I ended up getting the most basic barriers, though sometimes life has its ways, and existence has many. Still got like 7 minutes. Could go over more of auroric body, parts of the elements of the Inconternal logo, which would be a compilation of, like how the word itself was a accumulation of the elements that made up God, originally being infinity, unconditional love, and eternity. The infinite conditions of eternity, or infinity connecting to eternity. This is Christ in law. So there's the infinity symbol, which I usually, in the chakra system, between sacral and solar plexus, sorry, is the gold chakra, which would be the belly button, associated to usually connections to kinship, parenting, parenthood, connection with intimate relationships. Also protect your, what's the lymphatic? No, that's the immune system. What's that chakra? It's been a while. If you build this triangle, if you know the crystal Bibles, strengthen your cords. You might have negative cords connecting to your underneath, and variably I had attunement for that at one upgrade. The cross, which would be, of course, the center point being, one way you can look at it is your head above ground, being your being able to see the dimensions of density. The cross being male, female, creating the life that comes from the center, which is, you know, the hidden knowledge. It's where the source comes from, the tree. The Trinity, Holy Trinity, accurate. The creator, one creates the two, upside down, the two create the one, and then cross variably. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Mother, Father, the Child, the Lord over the land, the two coming together for the one, or parts being taken from one place to another. I almost sound like I'm being a little more neutral or general than my usual Paladin Orientational stance, though I feel like it's not a bad idea in its ways. Ankh being the Ankh. The spiritual practice for the Ankh is when you get the pranic Kama Sutra practices, the orgasmic flow or celibate focus. You channel it into that shape. You get the cubit, which is not just the 28 or 32 inches, it's your exact identity in every part of your body is a code that is like the creation of the pyramids, the traditional ways, your right to a signature. Merkaba, which is one of my favorites. It's the strongest shape in geometric existence, and is, well, the male, female, sometimes in orientation, or 3D would be 6 lines, 6 crosses, 6 points until it's hopped into 3D. Then it's 888 or 999 with the center point, centered 0-point gravity. And yeah, the 10,000 teaching of the Merkaba is a traditional passage. It's one of the most important body systems, of course, with this orb around it. And the orb source protects the information to the knowledge. It's one of the ways I like to say it. The star, I think you get it. The right side up version being the spirit incarnate, being, value of the matter. Upside down would be spirit experiencing the incarnation, being the protection of the value of that being in that body. And then together is the 10-point pinwheel, which is philosophy of magic in that specific field of Wiccan or pagan generalistics. The peace sign, which kind of came in ironically with the logo. Of course, the peace sign is, it's like the cross upside down, but altered slightly. And a depiction of Jesus in Nordic culture is not just a man suffering on a cross. It's an artwork with a human man or human being, humanoid, with being the star, with a head and 2 arms and 2 legs, no tail, only humanoid. And Then there's the angelic cross, which, if you know the story of I Frankenstein, excuse me, there are mirrors in the subchakra system to the progression of the Kundalini. So the first three, and these are how the chords on the piano and the chords on the guitar are made. The chords on the piano are set up with these in mind, with the first three chakras up to the solar plexus, root, sacral solar plexus. Then you must reflect on truth before you go into the heart, and then the throat, and then love before the mind, and then the crown, and then light before the soul chakra, spirit chakra, and then on forth and onward, inward and outwards and all around. I believe that Freemasonry at one point when we could live longer, and now that we're up to 250 years, Japan just developed the technique to get at least that far, I believe. We might be reintroducing some things, as it's been varied in many areas. Yes, very much. One of the things with Atlantis, as this is Atlantisite, is we worked with the crystals to do psychic surgeries, though the reason we aren't talking about it discursively is because it eventually turned into a war with these crystals, and that's why when you get these crystals, sometimes they must be cleansed, because though things were very good, things messed up, and it didn't go well. Study the right ways and stick to the right things. We will make this better than ever. 7th golden age of humanity become. 300 years to the end of the Bronze Age. We just got on the Dark Age, rather in the Iron, I think it's Iron Age, and then Silver, and then Gold is the longest in the precession of the equinox, which is why the Illuminati went bad, because they had to restrict some of the education, the knowledge, before we lost everything on Earth. So they looked like bad guys. I don't know any of this. And many more in 4th. There's the ideals of Ma'at before the 10 Commandments, if you'd like to look into that. These were 42 ideals of things to do right before things got so bad that God had to come down and tell you 10 things that you can't do wrong, or the civilization will cease to exist. And the flood may have happened to wipe out some of these technologies in the most peaceful way, as drowning is one of the most peaceful ways to die. Overall natural causes. And hence why we must be careful with digging, climbing, and navigating. We know what we're doing, even if it's just remembering things we haven't been told yet. That's impossible, but we can do it. So we must be having consideration for the logical continuation. 12 basic laws of the universe. 1 law of divine oneness, law of vibration, law of attraction, law of correspondence, law of action, law of cause and effect, law of compensation, law of perpetual transmutation of energy. So continuing. law of relativity, law of polarity, law of rhythm, and law of gender. Until the logos come through. My favorite 10 commandments are 10 intentions for a better world. 1. Support life, seek truth, set your course, simplify, stay positive, synchronize, serve others, shine your light, share your vision, synergize. Another more relative note is the difference of regret prevention and forgiveness steps, 4 steps as the usual system. So you prevent what you regret and learn to forgive for what may go wrong, hence the Lord's Prayer. I have many things I could go through page for page, though you have to come back for that because I have things I have to keep up with, commitments, obligations, ties, hopes and dreams. Hope you have those too. Thank you for being the right crew, and shout out to you, Crystal. Jesus too. I still feel bad. Man said one word that was declassified as not a swear word in like 1800s. I just did that on like pure intuition. That was on autopilot. I sent him a little psychic message if you picked it up. And I hope we see each other in the astral realms or not. You never know. Dimensions to the densities and all the connections of matrices. May we upgrade these planets and the continuings. Inconternal peace be with you. Maybe see you again. Peace. Cheers. Shine on.